Hey everybody, it's Melissa from Everyday Spokane and one of the Beyond Basic bloggers. Okay, so this whole week we're going to be talking about tactical strategies for you to become a better blogger. So today I'm going to be covering how to become a better blogger by answering your audience's questions. Okay, so just a couple of housekeeping things. One, if you are watching this, please comment and let me know that you can hear me and see me and everything like that. And also, if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I have them up right now. I can see them, hopefully. So if you have questions, feel free to just let me know. Put them in the chat there. And then, of course, this will be a replay. So if you have questions after the replay, then just put them in there and I'll be in to answer them. Okay, so we're talking about how to be a better blogger, tactical strategies with the Beyond Basic Blogging crew. And today I'm going to be talking about answering your audience questions. Okay, so I'm really excited about this because when I was writing out my script, I was like, okay, I think I've actually come up with a mostly foolproof way to answer your audience questions. Number one, be helpful to your audience. Number two, how to start ranking on Google with SEO. And number three, how to build your email list. So that's what I'm going to be covering today. But before we get too deep into this, I need you to go back and watch Jasmine's Monday video about knowing your avatar, because without knowing your avatar, you really can't progress forward with this video that I'm about to share with you. Okay, so step one, know your avatar and answer their questions. So for the purposes of this video, I don't want it to be too long, so we're going to focus on travel bloggers, but really this applies to anyone. It can be personal finance, lifestyle bloggers, etc. But I'm going to use the example of travel bloggers because that's what I also do. So focusing on what your audience needs. Okay, so once you know your avatar and you're starting to answer your audience's questions, let's talk about what they're asking for. So for a travel blogger who maybe writes about traveling to New York City, one question their audience might have is, what do I wear in New York City during the winter? I'm going to travel there. I'm a tourist. I want to visit there. Maybe I'm thinking of moving to New York City. What do people wear in the winter? Specifically, New York is a little bit different market than maybe what you'd wear in other places. So, of course, everyone looks for that, or what to pack when they're traveling in the winter to New York City. Okay, so that's step one. You've identified at least one question your audience has. Try to identify a couple more, obviously, but for the purposes of this, let's go off that question. What do I wear in New York City in the winter? Step two, and this is where SEO comes in. I want you to go to Google. First, I want you to install Keywords Everywhere. It's a free Chrome extension. It also works for Firefox. And once you go ahead and install that extension, you'll go into Google and you'll type that question in. It's really that simple. Yeah, so you'll type in, what do I wear in New York City in the winter? Or whatever question your audience has. And so what I want you to do with that is really see, one, which websites are ranking for that kind of question and how that question is being asked. So just searching Google straight up, if you can install keywords everywhere, you can see how people are writing to rank for that question. So maybe, let's say the top 5 answers or the top 5, websites that are ranking on Google are saying, what do I pack to wear in Manhattan in the winter? Or what do I pack to wear in New York City in December? So you're starting to see how these websites that are ranking number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are answering that question maybe in a couple different ways than how you have it answered. This does not mean that your question is not good and you should not start off with it. So what I want you to take away from this part is I just want you to see how other people are writing for your question. What kind of other questions are they also answering? Maybe they're talking about the best jackets to wear in New York City in the winter. And so where we're going to go from here is really building the best blog post that you possibly can to rank as high as you can. So a couple people have told me, oh, Melissa, you'll never beat out, really high ranking, high domain authority websites because your blog is so small. And so I've had 2 blogs. I have had one in personal finance and then one in travel. And both times I have ranked at or above really well-known blogging names. So if you know the website My Subscription Addiction, it's like a review website for subscription boxes. I was ranking just below them for one of my personal finance articles, and again, not a very high domain authority blog. And then my website that I have now, I write about what it's like to move to Washington State, and I'm ranking above like government websites, which you know have high domain authority because they're seen as very having a lot of authority. And I'm ranking above those because of how in depth you're going to go on your blog posts. So take your audience questions, see what other people have written, and then answer all of those questions. What I want you to do here is just basically make the best blog post you can answering your audience questions. That may mean you have to answer a couple more questions like best jackets to wear in New York City in the winter, best boots to wear, things to do in New York City in the winter. Yeah, this might become a kind of a long post, but those are the ones that Google is going to see as answering questions, being helpful, being an authoritative source for what to do in New York City in the winter. And again, this can relate to anything. I mean, maybe you're talking about the best budgeting apps for your audience, or the best subscription boxes, or a subscription box comparison, anything like that. And so that's tip number 2. So research SEO using Google and keywords everywhere. There's also paid for platforms like SEMrush and Ahrefs. We'll put those links below. I'll put those links after the video. But just to get started, just go on Google and start searching and see what people are asking and talking about. Okay, so the number 3 thing, this is really fun. This is when you take your really well done blog post, you've got, videos, you're answering questions, you're super helpful, you're doing what your audience needs, you're answering your avatar's questions, you're solving their problems. Turn it into a PDF. Okay, so for the longest time, I did not believe people that were like, oh, just take your blog post and turn it into a PDF. It's really simple and it'll help you grow your audience. I just didn't do that for the longest time because I was like, oh, it's so much work to do a PDF and Canva, it takes so long. No. So basically, just do the very best you can on Canva. Canva has templates. I try to make it, I just do the paper size, so like 8 by 11 or whatever size the paper is. Canva will tell you. It's awesome. Go into Canva. Just like copy and paste your most useful sections of your blog, put in some pictures, put in a title, make sure you put a copyright at the bottom, or I have it on the side because I couldn't fit it at the bottom, and that's it. So what do they say? Perfect is the enemy of done. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be beautiful. Tons of bloggers have just gotten started by making Word documents into PDFs and then putting them online and having people give their email addresses for that Word document PDF. Just by going into Canva and adding some pictures, yours will be prettier than a lot of other bloggers. So just do it. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying go into Canva, take your blog post. I try to make my printables no more than 2 pages because I'm trying to think of my audience and how, especially for some of the questions that I'm answering, they might want to print it out, double-sided, and then take it somewhere. They may need to take it into a place, to get registered as a Washington resident and things like that. So let's see, we might have a question. I can't pull it up, but I'll pull it up in just a second. And so turn it into a PDF. It's really easy and awesome and really helpful. And I've seen it work. I've seen it work really, really well. So I'm doing it now for almost every single blog post I have. And now I'm going back into old blog posts and uploading it there. And it's converting really well for me. I just checked the other day and I'm getting at least like 5 signups a day, which for my new blog is really, really good. And the bigger you grow and the more people see your stuff, the more downloads you'll get, the more email signups you'll get. So yeah, those are my 3 tips. Answer your audience questions. Make sure you know your audience. 2, search on Google for SEO and get your blog post ranking really, really high by being really helpful. Just putting in a lot of videos, a lot of helpful questions, answering them. And then number 3, turning that awesome blog post into a printable that you then, put in your email client. Make sure you have an email client. Don't just give it away for free. As nice as that is, you do want to collect email signups. And we'll put some links to some of our favorite email provider platforms. And then that's it. Go ahead and just get started. So before I sign off, I want to just share an upcoming webinar that's coming up on the 30th, September 30th. Ruth Sukup of Living Well, Spending Less is going to be doing more of an intermediate advanced blogging webinar. So she's the creator, she's Living Well, Spending Less. She's also the creator of Elite Blog Academy, which I know Jasmine talked about last time, but we've all done it. Super, super great. But yeah, it's going to be a really good webinar. It's called Blogging Without Limits, How to Redefine Your Blog's Potential by Adapting to the Latest Industry Changes. So actually it should be super exciting. We're all going to be there watching it. And so you can sign up with a link in the comments below. And tomorrow I will actually be back. It'll be me again. Yay! And I will be talking about how to stay productive when you're blogging. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you're there, and I'll see you tomorrow.